Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast, your podcast dedicated to all things Animal Crossing. Episode 101 is brought to you by Bipidow Brenda, one of our newest Patreon patrons. Today, Sergio and I are going to talk about Animal Crossing spin-offs, and I'm going to answer some of the questions Sergio went through a couple of episodes ago, along with some new questions for both of us. Anyways, to begin, hello Sergio, how you doing?
Hi Chewy, I'm doing rather well. What about yourself?
I'm doing well. So I got Ring Fit Adventure.
I want to hear about that.
I do too, because I actually haven't played it yet. So what I'm planning on, I'm going to try it out right after we're done recording here, because usually I work out right before I go to bed, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Well, not right before. I still shower and stuff. I can't just go to bed all gross, because sometimes I'm a little gross. Jackie tells me so. And I'm like, I'm going to go fix that. But I'm going to try it out right after this. It'll be my first time checking it out. So yeah, you're going to get my thoughts on it pretty soon. And nice. It's going to be cool. So my plan right now with it, and I know this isn't quite Animal Crossing so far, but my plan with it is to kind of try to replace all of my exercising that I've currently been doing and just try to do it with this game / other Nintendo things. So I'm going to say more about that in a video pretty soon, but I think it'll be fun for people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you more about it as soon as I know more about it. Because, yeah, I don't right now. But yeah, you were telling me you're not really playing too many games these days. How's that going?
It's going okay. I'm okay with it. I really don't know why it's happening, because there's a lot of good games out. I guess, honestly, part of it is knowing that Animal Crossing is on the way, so that's what I want to be playing, you know? But also Pokemon. That's a for sure that I'm going to play.
Yeah, and I do want to say that we're recording today on October 20th, which means that's it. We're 5 months away from this game. So it's a big day today.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that I felt this kind of when we got to 6 months away, but now that we're 5 months away, I feel like we're over this huge hump, you know?
Yes.
When we heard about this game, it was September 2018, you know? And we've now gone a whole year and 1 month since that point. And then it got confirmed for March 20th, 2020, back in June, during E3. And then at that point, we're like, this is like a whole 9 months to go, you know? And now that it's become 5 months, that's almost halfway through that wait,
yes.
You know? And I think I messaged you the other day where I was like, okay, October 30th / 31, that's the midpoint.
Yes.
That is halfway through our wait. So once we reach the end of this month, we're going to be going into that shorter portion. So
yes.
Yeah, I hope people are excited about it. I don't know. I don't know what I've been thinking lately about it. It's kind of like I'm tired of waiting, but also still not tired. I'm still very excited, you know?
Yeah, and I love the tweets that you do every Friday. You're counting down the Fridays. I love that. I kind of want to start counting down the months, just going by the 20th. Nice round number. Like you said, we have 5 more to go. That sounds doable.
Yeah, 5 months. And I feel bad that I ran out of time today, because it would have been a perfect day to stream the new Amiibo Festival tournament, because it is the 20th. It was time. I just couldn't fit it in with what I was trying to do today. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make up for it, I think, at some point this week. I'm out of town this weekend again, but I'll be back Sunday early, so we'll keep our schedule the same, Sergio. I won't make you plan around that.
Cool.
But yeah, I did make a video last Friday, and we're gonna kind of use that as the jumping off point for the show today, but we're gonna be talking about Animal Crossing spin-offs. And my most recent video was about Happy Home Designer, specifically that I want Happy Home Designer 2. And Sergio, what do you think? Do you want a second Happy Home Designer?
Yes, definitely. Keeping in mind that I didn't play the first one, even if I did, I would want it, because I think it's exploring a side of Animal Crossing that some people like myself don't really get that much into, but they do it in a different way and they expand upon it. So definitely I want to see more. I want to see what else they can do. I'm sure they have ideas that they want to implement in the main game, but they think, it might be too much. This might be better for hopefully what becomes like a side series, which would be Happy Home Designer, like its own thing. So
Yeah.
definitely, I want them to think about that.
Yeah. And, I totally went into this video thinking that kind of thing too. Like, if this is just like a spin-off series that keeps happening, that keeps going, and it's just like more Animal Crossing after we've already gotten Animal Crossing,
Yes.
Because to some extent, I feel like Happy Home Designer, of the two Animal Crossing games we got in 2015, that one I felt worked because it was like 2 years after New Leaf had come out. So it was just like that sweet spot of good stuff to give us a little bit of extra, a little bit of a new take on Animal Crossing,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the thing that really bummed it out, I think, was that Amiibo Festival was announced instead of a full HD Animal Crossing game. And, it's just, we've been wanting that for so long. Ever since the Wii U became a thing, and we were like, wow, Nintendo games in HD, this is going to change everything. Give us Animal Crossing, please. Like that was our first thought. So I don't know. I went into it like that, but I was surprised / kind of happy about this, but I saw a lot of like dislikes on my video when I talked about this game,
Mm-hmm.
and I am very interested in why, not like I want to call people out on it, but I do really want to know their perspective on this game. I want to know why they're not interested in a Happy Home Designer. And
Yes.
kind of like you mentioned early on, you were saying like, it's something that focuses around a feature that you don't get the most enjoyment out of when playing Animal Crossing. Like it's all around the designing,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's that, if it's just like they don't even care about the spin-offs at this point. They just want mainline Animal Crossing games, So I do want to know. But the comment that I think stuck with me was somebody who said, and I didn't really go out and look for it, but this is kind of what they said. But they
Mm-hmm.
said, I was just describing another mainline Animal Crossing game,
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think where I find Happy Home Designer is different to mainline Animal Crossing games is that it gives you much greater control over aspects of the game that you have zero control over in a mainline game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say like you have zero control. You have some control, and there's some sneaky ways to get around things, but that might be too deep to go into today. But overall, like Happy Home Designer, it lets you decorate two things that you cannot decorate, at least not freely decorate in New Leaf.
Yes.
And that is villager homes and shops. Like all of the shops that you go into in the game, like they are set up the way that they're going to be set up forever up until they upgrade,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the villager homes, they're mostly going to use the furniture that they have. But you do where you do have a little bit of control is you can mail them furniture, you can gift it to them, you can give them furniture and hope that they put it in their home,
Yes.
But that doesn't guarantee they're going to put it where you want them to put it. So like Happy Home Designer to me, it's a game about having more control over your village, your things. And that's what I think, that's why I want this to continue. Because I really appreciate that aspect of mainline Animal Crossing games where you can't control everything. That's why I'm like torn with features like choosing where my villagers live. I know a lot of people really want it. I know that it's optional to do in New Horizons, but I know that I don't mind just letting my villagers move wherever they move.
Yes.
And then dealing with it, and building around that. Because I feel like sometimes those limitations, sometimes those things that throw a wrench in your plans lead to beautiful creativity or creative solutions.
Yes, exactly.
And so Happy Home Designer, to me, I want that to be the game where I can just control everything. Because, I get that appeal to Animal Crossing. I get why people want to control a lot more in their island, for example. And I think Happy Home Designer is the opportunity to give that to players who want more of that experience.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my long spiel responding to that comment where somebody said that I was just describing another mainline Animal Crossing game. But I don't think Happy Home Designer is, just because it's fundamentally different to me in that way, where you can control things that you couldn't control in previous titles.
Yes, and you know what I'm just thinking about? When we compare Happy Home Designer to New Leaf before the Welcome Amiibo update, obviously Happy Home Designer introduced a lot of things that became part of the update, and basically they should be part of the mainline series now. So what I'm thinking is maybe Nintendo likes to use a spin-off, or hopefully a Happy Home Designer side series, as a sort of way to introduce these new things, these new mechanics, these new improvements to the way we control Animal Crossing. And I'm sure, I mean, they work when they put it into the game, but maybe they're just testing the waters, or introducing concepts to the players that they're gonna make into the mainline series in the next mainline game, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a preview, and I feel like a side series, it's a nice way to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is their opportunity to play with mechanics that they didn't really have time to fit into New Horizons, Or maybe they just thought about it way later, way after the fact. The game was already done and everything,
Yes.
And that is the impression that I get from Happy Home Designer when I do play it. I'm just like, oh man, rugs and ceiling items make perfect sense. You would think that's just something that would have been thought of a long time ago, but maybe it was the programming that they didn't know how to make it part of the game, maybe there could have been any number of issues that stopped it from being in the first title. But even after Welcome Amiibo was introduced and that game was updated, they still did not have the capacity to put in rugs and ceiling items, which I wish they did,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried because I've looked pretty closely at all of the homes, the interior homes that we've seen so far in New Horizons, and at this point, there's still nothing that shows there are rugs or ceiling items. And I'm like, come on, you guys, this has to be in there. Even Pocket Camp has it at this point,
Yeah.
So it hasn't been confirmed, but I'm hoping that it does make it into the game. And I think it will. I'm just, it's easy to be a little bit worried before everything's been confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did get a cool question recently on the Discord that I think would be really fun to talk about. So Sasha, 2020, currently their name, but they said, if we get a new Animal Crossing spin-off someday, after New Horizons, of course, that isn't anything like any of the Animal Crossing games that we already have, what kind of spin-off would you like? And Sergio, I came up with 3. How many? And I think you came up with 2, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so then it makes sense for me to start, and we'll go back and forth.
Cool.
And my first idea, I think you're going to love a lot, Sergio. Okay. So on Nintendo Jump, the Discord, your Discord over at NJP,
Yes.
somebody kind of listed a bunch of games that they were afraid of you bashing on. Ever since you said some mean things about Kingdom Hearts in a podcast. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny what you said. But they're kind of worried about you saying something about one of their favorite games. And they essentially listed your favorite games.
Yes.
And I was like, with that list, I think you're safe.
Yeah.
I don't think Sergio's going to go at those games anytime soon. But two of those were Animal Crossing and rhythm games.
Mhm.
And so I know you have a love for Animal Crossing and rhythm games. And I thought, you know what? Let's get an Animal Crossing rhythm game
Oh.
as a spin-off title. So here's my idea. You join, so KK Slider, he's starting a band, and you join his band and play all of his songs with him, including hourly tracks throughout
nice.
the different generations of Animal Crossing. So you go on tour, you gain a bigger reputation as you play more. So you'll start out doing like house shows, for example, because that's where it all starts, you know.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? It needs to start out even smaller. You're busking, which is the word for performing out on the street,
Yes,
but you're
right.
busking outside of the train station to start. And so people are just going there and listening to you. Eventually, somebody is like, hey, you're really great. Want to go play at my house for a show? And so you start doing house shows, and then from there, you eventually move up to the coffee shop, and then finally, you'll get to that point where you can build an entire venue and perform every night.
Nice.
So that's my rhythm game idea. The better you play, the more reputation you build, and eventually, the better venues you get to play at.
Nice. So just by doing a quick calculation, I'm adding up to about 200 songs already. All of KK's existing songs, the 24-hour versions of all the three games we have, and also New Horizons, and whatever new KK songs he has in New Horizons. Over 200 songs already. This is awesome.
That's perfect. That's a bigger set list than any of the rock bands, any of the what's the other one? Guitar Heroes. Yeah, it's going to be the biggest rhythm game in the world.
Nice.
So yeah, that was my first idea, and it's just who doesn't want to? Okay, well, here's the other cool thing. I forgot to write this down, but I had this idea earlier and I'm glad I just remembered it. But a lot of people really want to be able to play as an animal instead of a villager, like a character, like a human character. I think in this rhythm game, you get to design your own Animal Crossing animal. You get to pick what type of animal you want to be and then do all the color schemes and everything. And this is the game where you get to be an animal. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's the other thing.
Nice. Oh man, that's awesome. I hope it happens sooner than later.
I'll email them. I'll let them know.
Nice.
Cool. So what was your first idea?
So my first idea, and since we want to go really out with something that is completely unlike Animal Crossing, anything we've gotten. So my first idea is for an RPG, but it also has to do with the fossils. So basically, what happens is that Blathers figured out a way to bring all the fossils to life, and they turn out to be full-size real dinosaurs. I don't know how he did it. That's part of the mystery in the story. I don't want to spoil it. So we'll have to wait to find out. But basically, this is the continuation of the Fossil Fighter series for the DS, which was an RPG where you would go around finding fossils, and then the better you clean and dig them up, like you actually had to do the digging and the cleaning. You could actually break the fossils if you weren't careful. So the better you did, the stronger the Bevosaurs, I think they were called, the stronger they would be. So I'm thinking something like that, but basically Blathers tells you that if you want to stop the dinosaurs that he brought back to life, you have to do the same thing. You have to go and find the fossils, clean them up carefully, and you make them come back to life also, but you have to fight the ones that he made. I don't know how it works really. I think Nintendo's gonna have to figure that part out. But you want to stop the real life dinosaurs by using real life dinosaurs also.
So I remember Fossil Fighters. I never played it. My brother played like two of them. Are there two of them?
There's two on the DS, there's another one on the 3DS.
Okay, I want to. He has at least two of them for sure. But I
Mhm.
remember like trying to play that game, and I just couldn't stand that like buzzing sound when you were like
Oh.
actually uncovering the fossils. I was just like clenching my teeth the entire time, and so I couldn't quite play it. But I do really like that idea, especially because it goes also in another direction where you focus on a thing that isn't slash character that hasn't really been highlighted too much recently, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, just like being able to hang out with Blathers and that sort of thing. So yeah, I like that idea. And maybe, you know, maybe he could also fight giant bugs too. Because he hates those, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it would be better for the game if you're not limited to 4 fossils per day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking 40, but that might be too many now.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a lot of fossils, though.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully they grow that. Okay, so my next idea. Now, this one for sure has never been done before, and it's an Animal Crossing party game. It's definitely a brand new idea, and there has never been an Animal Crossing party game before, at all. Especially not on the Wii U.
Especially not a fun one.
Yeah, not a fun one at all. Okay, so real talk though. So my idea for a new Animal Crossing party game that's brand new. It's essentially the goal is that you have to pay off all of this debt. And Tom Nook is at it again. He's trying to build an entire town and you gotta pay for it. Because obviously, but not only that, he's pitting you against other players to pay off more of that debt than they do. So you go around the board, you're earning money, and you're competing with the players to make the biggest contributions. For example, you play some mini games to earn more bells, like fishing, bug catching, fossil collecting. The object is to get the most expensive fish, the most expensive bug, the most expensive fossil. You have it, you know? Just get the most money for whatever you catch, and then contribute that to the things. Or you can hold on to that money and invest in the stock market and try to go big or go home. So you'll make daring investments to get even more money to contribute. So yeah, you've got essentially like a little portfolio and a different thing to pay off. So I don't know how it'll be limited, but at the end of the game ends essentially when the town is complete, it is built, everything's been paid off, and whoever has contributed the most to make that happen wins.
Oh, nice.
So that's how I would personally do an Animal Crossing party game. And because, I don't know, I feel like a big part of the gameplay is, to some extent, just getting a bunch of money to pay stuff off, you know?
Yeah, and
So
this sounds like something that Tom Nook would be absolutely ready to go for.
yeah, for sure. He's all about that. So yeah, and maybe like you can even buy decorations for places and stuff. And you know, if you buy the biggest best decoration for something, maybe it's a race to buy the biggest best decoration for something, just to ensure you get more points than somebody.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I think there are a lot of cool things you can do to try to pay off more of the debt than anybody else.
Nice. Very reminiscent of the good old initial days of Animal Crossing.
Yep, you know it.
So, my second spin-off idea, well, it happens to be another RPG, but this one is different. You know the Mario and Luigi series. Recently, the company that used to make them, Alpha Dream, they went bankrupt. So this series, it's either gone or it's going to be dormant for a long time. Who knows what's going to happen, right? So I have a suggestion. We can turn it into basically it's gonna stay an RPG, but it's gonna have Animal Crossing characters this time around. And the story is that Phyllis stole Isabel's shells. You know, the ones that she asked you at the beginning of New Leaf?
Yeah, I remember.
So you get those for her, but Phyllis likes it too much and she just takes it and she goes away. So every villager from every Animal Crossing town, Madera, Haken, every town, all the villagers team up to track down Phyllis. So every character that's ever been a villager in Animal Crossing, you can play as them in your party. They are all in the game, but basically they go by the personality. So there's going to be 8 different classes this time around. This is a full-fledged RPG. So you pick either 4, maybe 8 characters. You can have one of each. That'll be awesome. And you go around towns tracking down Phyllis. She's the only enemy, so she's the only boss and enemy. Again, it's up for Nintendo to figure that one out. But but this sounds like a really cool story-driven RPG for Animal Crossing.
So I'm gonna build off of it and maybe add one more sort of enemy in there, but like kind of canonically. Pete has a big crush on Phyllis, and Pelly has a crush on Pete. You know, like I think this is an opportunity to really like dig into those relationships that we don't hear about in Animal Crossing. You know, so I don't know. I would add that to it, like because we don't get a lot of story from Animal Crossing. We get it in bits and pieces here and there, but there's not really a big story to follow. And doing an RPG would essentially add that to the franchise, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would like that a lot.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you're making me think more story-driven things, Sable could be a very unpredictable character in this RPG.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool to dig into that world and give a lot of people some more roles, some more motivation, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe you can find out that this whole theft runs a lot deeper than you initially thought. There's a big mystery here in Animal Crossing, and you've got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my last idea is a shop manager game. I've been kind of playing some Moonlighter, which is kind of dungeon crawler / shop management, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like that idea works with this type of thing, but you move into a new town, a classic Animal Crossing thing, but you're not moving in as a villager, you're not moving in because you got a job. No, you are going to be a part of this town's economy. You are opening up your own shop in Haken, and you are tasked to find out what the locals want to buy and keep in stock. Other competitors are going to come in and try to, steal all of your business, but you have to be bigger and better. So you've got to constantly be expanding your offerings, get nicer stuff. Maybe you start small by selling like crafting materials to the villagers, so they can build different things. But then maybe you get big enough where you can make your own crafts and sell those in your shop, so the villagers don't have to craft it themselves. So yeah, I think it gives you an opportunity to just like create your own little shop within the Animal Crossing world and be part of, that group that just like sells things and makes the town go round,
Yes, this game sounds like it would explain what's really going on with KK selling his music, who is really behind all that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, okay, to be fair, I will say Emily with 2 E's tagged us. I think she tagged both of us. I know she tagged me, but she essentially tagged a picture where KK Slider talks about selling his music in Happy Home Designer. And he said, like, it's about the kids. All of the proceeds go to the children.
Yeah.
So he is doing it for a good reason.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this game could dig into that. And you can maybe be the only store that sells KK Slider music.
Oh,
because
nice.
you made a deal to donate it all to the children.
Yeah, and you get to buy out Tom Nook now.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's the ultimate goal, just to buy all of Tom Nook's business so he can't own a single thing anymore. Yeah. But yeah, these are really fun. I think we came up with some really new things that Animal Crossing could do, and it'd just be really cute, you know? I think I'd like it a lot if we just got like different takes on Animal Crossing, because I said this in my video too, but I really see New Horizons being the only mainline Animal Crossing game we get for a very long time, you know?
Yes.
It's good. I'm honestly leaning toward like 10 years before we see a new Animal Crossing game, at least a new mainline game, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, if we're gonna wait that long, I want to have some fun, creative spin-offs that we get to play while we're waiting for that game. And of course,
Yes.
we're gonna have New Horizons, which we'll play easily for 10 years.
Oh, yes, definitely. And with these 5 ideas, that's 5 games. Maybe they could spread them out one every 2 years. That's good. And of course, more happy home designer.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's so much that they can do. Just revisit some ideas, Nintendo. Your first party game didn't work out too well. It had some things going for it, but overall, you could do better. So, yeah, just take some of our ideas. We don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give us an interview here.
Oh, nice.
That's the trade-off. Cool. So let's go ahead and move into this next little portion. And episode 99 was the first episode of Haken that I was not on.
Yes.
That's a surprise. I just couldn't get around to it, and you were able to get something up for us. Thank you for that, Sergio.
Sure.
And a lot of people were really happy with it, and they liked that episode, so I'm glad you were around. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions that you answered, but go ahead and ask me them.
Sure. Cool. So a question that we have is by Kakulu, and they ask, what do you think Rossetti's new job is going to be?
So I don't know. I feel like he really gives off like construction worker vibes all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him being like the person that, or I guess the animal that goes out and builds stuff once it finally comes time to build it, you know? Because we haven't really seen the process of going from a tent to a home, or to a house, rather. Not so much. A tent could still be your home. But, you know, we haven't seen the process of that changing and it actually becoming like an established building in the town. So, I don't know. I feel like he gives off those vibes. I think he'd be good at it. He's good at digging. So, he's probably good at building, I would guess.
Nice. That's true.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Davey asked, what theme will you make your Animal Crossing Switch town? For example, modern, forest, fairy tale. And he's wondering if your answer has changed now that we know how towns work. And I guess what he's asking is, now that Haken is going to be an island and not really a town per se, does that change the way you're going to design your island?
I think I'm still going to go kind of foresty. And I don't know, I guess I just don't want to have that like tropical vibe too much. I don't mind it. I think it's cool. But just for my town, I've always really liked kind of that mountainous wilderness type of feel. And I know that's essentially the Animal Crossing, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like template, kind of the default, rather.
Yes.
That's the Animal Crossing default, and that's just kind of what I default to. I just want to have like a very foresty feel to my town. I've always liked filling my town up with like a bunch of trees, a bunch of bushes. I just like the greenery, you know?
Yeah, and just by being on an island, even if you focus on the forest type, it's still gonna be like different enough that it's gonna change things up for you, I think.
Yeah, and I'll still use my island fairly well. Like, I'll fill it up with like palm trees and things. I want to give it a different vibe, and maybe we'll see like what items we'll have to do that, but I don't want it to feel like a summer, springish island all the time. I want it to feel like autumn or winter when it finally comes to those seasons.
True, yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of prioritize those seasons too. Those are kind of my more favorite of the four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So, Samsey also asked, will Animal Crossing New Horizons be competing with the top spot for the best Animal Crossing game?
I think definitely. I mean, as far as like competing go, I feel like they're all always competing for that, you know? So, because no matter who you ask, like everybody's got their preferences and stuff. For example, a lot of people really love Wild World. That's the game that got them into Animal Crossing. That's their first experience, and they really look at those days very fondly. And, you know, Animal Crossing Wild World, though it was kind of the most bare bones version of it, there's still some things that I think are really cool in it and unique. I still really like the house designs for villagers in that game. But I would say, like, overall, like, gameplay wise, I kind of still like City Folk better than that one, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, like, so my argument is that just like you can make an argument for all of them. And so where New Horizons is different is that it is a very different take on Animal Crossing. It's always been, the focus was you'd move into a town that already had a lot of parts that existed, you know? And then you get used to that, you build it up a little bit more, you build a bigger house, the shops upgrade and everything. And then, you know, everything's kind of already established. Whereas with New Horizons, you're going to be moving into a place and then completely seeing something brand new.
Yes.
It's like untouched land that you are starting from the get-go.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I think as far as like where New Horizons is, I think it's a pretty different game than what we've gotten so far. And I'm okay with it because after playing like 4 games in this series for however many years I've been playing it, I'm ready to get that game that's a little bit different, you know?
Yes. It's going to be, you know, the newest mainline game. It's looking like it could be the biggest, longer lasting, but just with the crafting, like you said, it's going to be different enough that it just might feel a different area of our Animal Crossing hearts. So we're still going to really enjoy New Leaf and the previous ones. They all have a little something to offer.
Yeah. And you're totally right. Like, it's balancing on a completely new feature that we've just never experienced before.
Yeah.
Outside of, I guess, Pocket Camp, but it's not the same still. It's still not quite there.
Yeah, that's right. So, Yogi Bear 312 asks, do you think New Horizons will sell more copies than New Leaf? Also, when do you think we might get an Animal Crossing Direct, if there is one?
Okay. So I don't know. I guess I feel like the retention rate of games on the Switch is pretty high. I think a lot of games are selling a lot more than they normally would because they're on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just like the games themselves or if it's just people really connecting with the Switch in a big way that makes every game kind of just more appealing to have on that system, you know? So
yes.
We have, for example, Mario Kart 8, which is currently the #1 top-selling game on the Switch, which already came out on the Wii U before, where it didn't sell as well. And it still sold really well for how many Wii U consoles were out there.
Yes.
But I don't know, just to see it like come out again and still be selling like crazy. Another example I'll give is like Fire Emblem, 3 Houses. That game has seriously surprised even the developers, like how much it sold. So like this is a game that, I don't know, leading up to Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I felt like there was a lot more hate for the series versus love for it because... Mostly because of Smash. They're like, oh great, another Fire Emblem character, right? I was never in that boat. I was like, please just make a Smash that's all Fire Emblem characters. I'm more in that boat because funny enough, Fire Emblem's my 3rd favorite Nintendo series. I really like that series and it's really fun for me. but yeah, like that game is selling like crazy, which even blew expectations for the developers out of the water. So
Yeah. Yep.
Animal Crossing New Horizons, I think, will sell a lot. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You see, like Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee making 10 million, selling 10 million copies before like 3 months that the game was out. So I think the game's gonna definitely outsell. Like 10 million copies is already like 2 million away from how many New Leaf sold. So yeah, it's gonna beat it.
Nice.
And then as far as like when do I think an Animal Crossing Direct will happen? Late January to late February. That's when I think. Just because I don't know if Nintendo has much of a reason to have any news right now. It would be nice because it would be nice. But like we got a September Direct, and then October and November are kind of full with Luigi's Mansion 3 and a Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like those two are pretty full. December, I mean, it's their emptiest December since they don't have a game for the first time during the Switch's lifespan, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They've had a December game in both 2017 and 2018, but I don't know. I think from what we saw in the September Direct, it doesn't seem like they have too much to tell us quite yet. So I think they're saving it for later. And I think January, we'd probably see a more general Direct, while February could be that that general, not that general Direct, that Animal Crossing Direct, you know?
Yes.
So, I don't know. I would peg it, I'm kind of leaning February, really, with it. And I know it's a bummer because we want to see more. And
yes.
we do have to accept that it's only been a month since we last saw the game. And you know, by February, it will have been a nice big gap. And they're going to start getting into that point where they're tweeting about it. They're putting news out. We're going to start seeing commercials play whenever we play a video on YouTube. So, oh, that's my dream, just to see Animal Crossing commercials on the YouTube channel. Yeah, because that'd be so on brand, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Man, I mean, everything you said makes so much sense. Unfortunately, I already kind of predicted that we're getting an Animal Crossing Direct on December. I said December 4, and on our Discord, I even said it's gonna be December 4 at 9 a.m. Pacific. So there you go. Hopefully, hopefully we get something.
Yeah, and I mean, it could happen. I'm not going to get my hopes up because, I don't know, we've got the Video Game Awards for the week after that, I think. And then, you know, from what I've heard, a lot of the Nintendo people, like, just take their vacation time in December. So the last half of that month is a ghost town.
Yes.
From what I hear. So I just don't see there being any major news during that time when there's really nobody there to respond to people about it. So yeah, that's my thinking on it. And I would love to see it sooner, but I just don't see it happening. As far as I'm concerned, I can't get my hopes up. I'm like, the next time we're going to see it is when it's out and in our hands. Which that could be it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that's the worst case, and we're kind of ready for that. So we got it.
Yeah.
So Kex asked, and this is very Chewy centric, why are cedar trees so amazing?
Okay, they're amazing because they're very unique to what other trees in Animal Crossing are. For example, we have the kind of regular sapling tree, and you see those in a lot of different ways. There's the regular one without fruit, and then there's like the 9 others with fruit. Actually 10 others with fruit, because you got the apples, pears, peaches, cherries, oranges, persimmons, mangoes, lemons, way too many.
Yeah.
So like you have all of these iterations of the same type of tree that just kind of has something different on it than you know. And then you have the same kind of thing going with the palm trees, where you have a bunch of coconuts, a bunch of bananas, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's kind of two variations to that. But the cedar trees, they're unique. That's the only kind of tree that they have, that they are, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's why I like them. I like that they bring a different look, a different feel to the town that could be, for the most part, those regular sapling designs. And I'm like, I just want to throw cedar in there to change it up. You know, I want the
Yeah.
visuals of the game to be different while I'm walking around.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and hopefully, hopefully this is the game that changes that finally.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I did skip out on bamboo. I always forget about the bamboo, but you know, like I want to see more variations of the greenery that we can plant. The bamboo is fun, but it grows like a weed. It just keeps popping up everywhere. You've got to watch out where you plant it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see the birch trees show up. I want to see some new types of trees show up that we've never had. So yeah, the other cool thing was the perfect fruit trees when they'd eventually drop all their leaves and you could see them just bare, you know?
Yes.
Anything that just changes up the visuals, the tree visuals, as I like to call them. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. So, Coconut asked, let's say Nintendo made a high quality KK amiibo, but similar to the giant woolly Yoshi one. And let's say it had some kind of exclusive capability with New Horizons. What is the maximum that you would pay for it? Where do you draw the line? He said he was especially curious about my answer, and I basically said if it's woolly and giant and it has a really cool feature, probably 500 would be a good price.
Oh, that's so much money.
So, what do you think, Chewy?
I think that's the price of a Switch and a Switch Lite. And you can get two of them, which would amount to two more towns.
True.
Okay, so specifically he listed the giant woolly Yoshi, and wasn't that one $40 retail?
I believe so. Mhm.
I mean, I think that's a fair price. I think 40 is good. I think it's gonna fly off the shelves and it's gonna be around 100, maybe 200. I'd say the max I'd go though on it is, for me, probably 100. Yeah.
100. What if they only make about, I don't know, 6 for the entire world?
Oh man, then yeah, 500. Go for it. But I mean, I've already spent a lot on a KK Slider amiibo. I spent that much on the card, the Japanese CP KK Slider. You know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I mean, that's why I go at that point, because I'm like, I've already paid that much. And it wasn't as cool as like a woolly KK Slider.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm always tempted to just get another. I know you have a lot of KK Slider amiibos, but I'm always tempted to just get more and then, well, at least one more and put it at the bottom of my KK plush toy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you can tear into some of those amiibos, Sergio, and turn them into some of your plush toys over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's just a new use for them.
Yeah.
Custom.
Cool. Nice. So, Indy Sarah asked, two-part question. If they introduce a new personality type in New Horizons, what do you hope they bring in? Well, we know they are not, but I guess you can tell us if they did, what would you want them to bring in? And also, if you categorize yourself as one of the existing types, like in New Leaf, what would you be?
Okay. New personality type. This is a tough choice because there are a lot of really fun ones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I want something kind of like schemer type. like crazy red type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want there to be just like some villagers around your town that are just a little bit sketchy. And maybe, you're not quite sure if you can trust them.
So you definitely know who they work for.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. I just think it'd be like something fun that's different to to go with. Like, you just have a little villager that just can't help swiping some stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
And then as
mhm.
far as me, I guess I don't know, I guess I lean toward Peppy right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Temp Name 243 asks, what type of design would you like to see for an Animal Crossing Switch Special Edition? And what would you want in an Animal Crossing Collector's Edition for New Horizons?
Oh, man. I mean, okay. I've come to the point where I want there to be both an Animal Crossing Switch and an Animal Crossing Switch Lite. Mostly because we need to have some Joy-Con that are Animal Crossing themed.
Yes.
The shells that they did for the new 3DS were always really awesome. There was like the KK Slider one. There was the Timmy and Tommy. They had a lot of really cool designs for that, and I think they could just keep that going. Make it a little bit islandy. I don't know. I think whatever they do, I think I'd like it a lot. But as far as like a collector's edition, throw in that plush KK Slider amiibo, and that'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. So there's one thing I'm very sad about with the state of the internet destroying print media. And the thing I'm sad about is that Prima is no longer going to be printing out strategy guides.
Yes.
And I would love there to be an official Animal Crossing New Horizons strategy guide, complete with like a checklist that lets you check off like all of the items that you get as you go, you know?
Yes.
That would be my ideal thing in the collector's edition.
Oh, gotcha. So that's a way to bring in back the guides. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just because I need something physical. I need a physical book for this game. I skipped out on the physical Prima guide for New Leaf, and I've always regretted that. I should have gotten it forever ago. I have it digitally now, but you know it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So what do you think? Did you answer this one at all?
Yes. So for the pattern on the console, I want something. I said either like the grass pattern that we know and love, or the Pop-Tart look.
Oh yeah,
classic.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was trying to remember if you'd gotten to that one.
Yep.
Cool.
But like you said, whatever they do, we'll buy it.
Yeah, we will. We're suckers.
So Nez asked, considering we're now on an island surrounded by the big blue sea, do you guys think it's about time we got a diving tourney, similar to the fishing and bug catching tourneys?
Definitely, and Pascal is in charge of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
Because he's always swimming around in the river, in the ocean, doesn't matter where, he's swimming, you know? And so, like, it'd be great to just give him a bunch of diving stuff, and he's like, man, that's so awesome. And, you know, each time he can give you, like, some cool philosophical saying along with whatever type of furniture he wants to give you, you know?
Yeah.
I think in New Leaf it was the pirate-themed furniture. Yeah.
And, you know, for this one, I said, if there's a diving tourney, maybe it's a nice opportunity to bring a new special character, but I like your answer better. Pascal is one of my favorites. Makes perfect sense. Let's go with that.
Yeah, they all need new jobs in this game, apparently.
Yeah.
So let's give Pascal a job.
Awesome. So the last question from the questions covered in episode 99 is by Dragon, and he asks, if you were to, by some chance, in New Horizons, start with a vast majority of animal villagers that you already had in previous towns, how would you feel? Would you be happy or nostalgic to see them again? Or would you want them to move out quickly?
I guess I'd feel, I'll say it, I'd feel a little bit disappointed because I do really like that there are tons and tons of animals in the game. And more than ever, like now that I've played it for years and years, I'm more interested in meeting a lot more of them. And so, like, if I get a lot of the same villagers, I think I'd be fine with it. Like, I'd welcome them for sure. But I think I for sure want plenty of new ones to join me. And, you know, just like meeting new villagers and finding new favorites. I think that's fun to do.
Yes.
Especially when they grow on you. Like, I had the little koala Lyman, who's just like this little green koala. And I didn't like him at first, but then after a while, I was just like, man, Lyman is my bro. We're always hanging out. He's awesome. I eventually did let them leave, but you know, like if they ask me, sometimes I'll be like, nah, you don't go. And
No.
then if they ask enough, I'm just like, all right, you know what? You seem to want to head out. I'm not going to hold you back from your dreams. So I do like letting them move away eventually and getting some new villagers in, you know? Also, like, this also makes me think of the first day I play Animal Crossing, it's going to be essentially me not playing Animal Crossing because of how many times I'm going to reset the game.
Oh.
To start, like, I'm not going to settle on my first town. And I didn't do this in New Leaf. I reset a whole bunch of times when I started in New Leaf. I was going for cherries specifically, but also this was the first time I was like seeing all the different maps and stuff. So I wanted to like, you know, be a little bit picky with my layout when I started and kind of see what unique features you could have in your town based on your layout, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm going to be resetting a lot in the beginning just to find that town that's right for me, because I'm going to be staying with it for years after.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I like it. And yeah, I guess I have a question for you, Sergio. How are you going to go about starting your town in New Horizons?
Oh, okay. So for New Leaf, I wanted one of a couple of town layouts that were possible, and I wanted either apples or oranges. And I was ready to reset if I didn't get one of those. Luckily enough, the very first town that Robert showed me, it was the layout that I wanted, and it had apples. So I was good to go. And I feel like that's what I'm gonna do with New Horizons. Whatever the game gives me, I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna care about the fruit. I'm just gonna go with it, and if it's not perfect, I'll make it work.
Yeah, and I like that too. Normally I would do that, but I don't know. I don't feel like it with this one. I feel like because I did that, you know, the first 3 games or so, and then New Leaf I changed my mind, and this one I'm going more of I'm going to reset a little bit just to get to know like the different layouts we can get and everything. But yeah, I guess, are you still hoping for apples or oranges?
You know what? Yes, and I guess silly reason it's because those are my 2 favorites. Although cherries are up there now, so cherries are welcome to the acceptable fruit category.
Yeah. So for me, I think I'm going to be going for apples or peaches this time around. I had cherries in my New Leaf town. I still have them, and I really love cherries. They're still one of my favorite fruits, but I think overall I'm just like, you know what? I've been there. I've done that. I'm not going to do it again. And then the apples, they really stole my heart in New Leaf. Just like the perfect apples look so good.
Yes.
Those look like really great apples. The design is great, and you know, red on green. It's a good. It works.
Yes. Yes.
But the reason I've got peaches there is just because peaches was the first fruit I ever had. It was in my GameCube town, and for a long time I was like, I didn't even. This was way back in the day, so I didn't even know you could get different fruit for a long time. And then one day I went to a friend's place and I was like, what? They have like oranges, or I forget what they had. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to have peaches again just to have that callback to my original playthrough of Animal Crossing.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So basically, Haken is going to have pears and he's going to have the museum on the left.
No. Pears, I don't want. Yeah, I'd be pretty much okay with all of them except for pears. Maybe oranges a little bit next. I love oranges, but I think the color scheme doesn't appeal to me as much. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm picky that way, but yeah, I mean, after that, like, I'm just gonna get what I get. But I think at the beginning, before you've like really truly committed to a place, it's okay to reset a bit and see what you come out with later. And
Yeah, no, and you made an excellent point that this game is gonna be with us for years. So if you can sort of control your town a little bit by resetting, I mean, all power to you. So it makes sense.
yeah, and I do also want to say I'm not going to reset based on what characters I have. I don't really care if I get a character I don't really like, you know?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the game they move in like every other day.
Yeah.
You're going to see a whole bunch of new characters by the time you're at the end of the week, you know? So, well, at least I don't know how fast they'll move in this game actually, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
Until we actually play. But yeah, that's one thing I'm really interested in seeing, and I just want new ones. I just want a bunch of new stuff in this game with maybe some callbacks here and there.
Yes, for new horizons.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into our last little segment, and it is our Haken's Islander Corner. And for those of you who don't know, every week we ask our patrons a question, and it's on Patreon, of course. They contribute to our show, but we read their answers here on the show. This week's question was, do you want Animal Crossing spin-off games after New Horizons is out? Sergio, how do you feel about that?
Yes, I definitely do. And you know what? To add to this, basically Nogami and the team, I think after New Horizons, they're most likely gonna move on to making a Splatoon 3, right? And then after that, I think it's time for a Animal Crossing spin-off. So it's probably gonna happen sooner than we think.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually hoping they kind of give Animal Crossing the Splatoon treatment and do like keep the team on, or at least a small part of the team on, for like regular monthly updates for the first year or so, you know?
Oh, yes.
Because I would love to see them just come up with like new crafting recipes that they give out every month. And I don't know, maybe you have different goals you have to do to get them. Maybe there will be like, okay, I know how they're going to do it. It's going to be a new Nook Mile thing, Nook Miles challenge. And when you achieve that, you're going to unlock new recipes to craft. So I don't know, I feel like they have the systems built in to really support the game for a lot longer than they ever have, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really what I'm hoping for. I just want to see it. We've waited so long for this game. Just let us enjoy it. Give it some love post release, and we'll be good. We're happy.
Would it be called the Nook expansion?
Yeah, and the Nook expansion, exactly. Nook's helicopter. We just saw it in the little comic strip, so they've got to use it somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, after my video last Friday, you should all know that I want new spin-off games for sure.
Yes.
All right, so Sergio, let's go back and forth. There's an odd number here, so you know what? I'll go first, so I read more of them than you. Actually, I'll make you read more of them than me. Go for it, Sergio.
Okay, our first answer this week is by Quantrell Tobal, and he says, absolutely, especially if it's a dungeon crawler. Oh, yes.
Okay, so I really love that he mentioned this because last week's show we had Kelsey on, and she told us that like the origins of this game were like a dungeon crawler idea, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think since he heard that, he's probably like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I like that answer a lot.
Yeah, and it's something that, it could be part of the main game, like a little dungeon that you go to or a cave every day, but it's definitely something that could be expanded into its own game or genre.
Yeah, and I've talked about that before. Like, I imagined there being like new areas that you could travel to in the next game to get like extra materials that you don't usually get, you know?
Yes.
So, because at some point, like, some towns are going to run out of weeds to pull. And I think there are options to like buy them and stuff, but like if you don't want to and you just want to go to another island where there are lots of weeds, that'd be really cool. You know, it'd be a good workaround to having some limitations to what you can collect.
Yeah.
So Andrew Arto said, I see no harm in a fun spin-off. As much of a bad rap people give Amiibo Festival, it isn't a bad concept, just a bit poorly executed. I think the hurt from Amiibo Festival came more from the expectation of a new mainline game than it was the game itself. I think if better executed, an Amiibo Festival 2 could be very fun. I agree. And I'll probably make a big video about that later. But I agree. I like the idea of having an Animal Crossing party game. Clearly, I made one up just now today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'm sad that people are turned off by it just because it was so badly done the first time. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an easy choice. You know, Amiibo Festival 2, now with fun. And that's it.
Yeah, just add that as a title, too.
Nice. So, Layalatron says, I think I'd rather they go all out on full DLC expansions for New Horizons over the years. Oh, yes. I mean, this is a completely different approach, but it's very viable. And I feel like Nintendo would do a nice balancing of free content, free DLC, and maybe some that we have to pay that it's more significant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do really like this take on it because, like, if they're not working on spin-offs, yeah, for sure. Work on DLC. Give us like regular updates, like I was saying just earlier, you know? So I would like that approach too. Like if you don't want if you don't want a spin-off rather, I think it'd be cool to instead just get some free DLC instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Tab said, not right away, but maybe after 2020. I really just want to fully experience New Horizons first, and I'm not sure I have time for both. And that's a very good point too. Like, we don't know how long we're going to be really sucked into this game, you know? So, I mean, if you're like us, we can expect to be playing it for a few years. And maybe at that point, it's a good time for a spin-off.
Yeah, like in 2022, we're probably going to be thinking, okay, what games did I miss in this 2 years that I haven't played anything else? Oh, well, I'm ready for a spin-off too.
Yeah, I know. I like hearing that games are coming out after Animal Crossing just so I can be like, don't need you. I'm busy. I'm fulfilled right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna buy that game really cheap in 3 years from now.
Yeah, that's true. Unless it's a Nintendo game, which never gets discounted.
Oh, yeah.
But other games, yeah, really cheap.
Yep. And our last answer is by Cyborg Zero, and he said, sure, spin-offs for things like Pokemon can be arguably better than the original games like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So I have no issues with the Animal Crossing team making more spin-offs too. That's true. You know, that's an interesting way of looking at it because they could do something really cool that some people might consider like even better, I guess, to their taste than what the mainline offers. Like something so different that they like both a lot.
Yeah, like the Happy Home Designer that I described, where it's, you know, it's a lot like the mainline game, but you just have more control over everything, and maybe that fits people's tastes a lot better. So they like that game more, you know? So it could happen. I think right now the spin-offs have been mostly unsuccessful in getting people to like them more than the mainline games, you know? Because, you know, like more than anything, I think anybody who's playing the spin-offs, they want a new mainline game just so badly.
Yes.
I know I'm one of them. Like, I still log into Pocket Camp every single day, and I want to not. I want to play New Horizons instead. But, you know, I get my Animal Crossing fill where I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, we're going to be at that point where I think it's going to be right for spin-offs, you know? And maybe that is 2 years down the line after New Horizons, maybe 3, but because I do think like Happy Home Designer came out at a pretty good time, like 2015. But I think the circumstances that it came out in, where we have a Wii U and everybody wants a HD Animal Crossing, and then we don't get that, it like tarnishes that release.
Yes.
So I don't know. I want to be in that point where Nintendo puts out Animal Crossing New Horizons, and then there's not really like a new big console. Like we finally get that HD fill, and there's nothing new to really overshadow our wants. So we'll be open for a spin-off.
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So anything else you have to say about the show today, Sergio? I have something.
No, it was exciting. So what do you have?
Well, it's not a big thing. I just wanted to say it feels good to be back on the recording schedule. We went crazy. Like episode 97 and 100, we recorded those like 3 weeks ago now. And so like after that, we haven't spoken. We'd talk here and there. We're always like, messaging at least. But yeah, it feels good to just be back on a normal schedule. And next week will be normal too. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, definitely. Animal Cross Sundays are back.
Yeah, they're all back and we're all good. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. Don't want the episode to end? Well, you can keep the conversation going by Nintendo switching over to our Discord. Just follow the link in the description and you can talk with people who love Animal Crossing as much as you do, including Sergio and me. Want to support the show in a bigger way and get your voice heard during the show? Visit patreon.com/ChewyPlaysNintendo. You can support our show with just $1, have an episode dedicated to you, get special access to a secret room on Discord, join in on the Haken Islander Corner, and even read a monthly newsletter covering all things Haken and Chewy Plays. We really appreciate the support and put your money toward great things on the show. Tuned in on YouTube? The comments are a great place to let us know your answers to the Haken Islander Corner. Do you want spin-offs after New Horizons is out? Let us know. And if you dig what you hear, please KK slide over to that review section on your platform of choice. Let people know what they're missing out on. Haken is a wild production brought to you by Chewy, Sergio, and all of our patrons. We thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.